Where are we going?
What
is happening?
That's the biggest question in everybody's mind. What's next?
What's next? What's real? What's true? It's fascinating, but this is real life. If this was a movie, it would be great. So it's fascinating and it's scary if we don't know where the story ends. If we didn't know what the ending would be, this would be a very scary reality. But we know where it's going to end. Look, nobody believed when we said for I don't know how many years already, the world is getting better. Nobody believed it. No, look what happened. Look what happened. It's getting worse. Anti-Semitism. Did you hear the clip of Air Force One taking off? And the controller in the tower. You didn't hear this? It's amazing.
No.
After the convention or whatever, Air Force One is taking off, and the controller clears the takeoff, and then reads the blessings of the Kohanim. Yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and protect you, guide you. The whole, just spontaneous, unplanned. God is more popular than I remember in the general public. He's never been so popular. There were other miracles, greater miracles. And people said, wow, that's a miracle. But they weren't so quick to give God credit. Today, God has become very popular. And when God becomes more popular, the world is getting better. And this has been going on since a little before COVID. People got better, people more thoughtful, people are more considerate, people are more serious about life. So yes, the world is getting better by the minute. And now we're seeing it everywhere. Like somebody said, this attempt at the assassination should have caused riots. There should have been violence, there should have been cities burning down. Nothing, no negative responses. I mean, in opinions, of course, but nothing violent, nothing illegal, nothing criminal. So here's a very fascinating thing. It's been all the problems we have come from God. And yet when God does one little thing nice, he's the hero. God is great. God saved Trump from assassination. The last 4 years of misery and accusation and defamation, all gone, all forgotten. What is that? What is this phenomenon? No matter what the pain, no matter what the suffering, one good thing happens, life is great, God is good, we're blessed. Is that a little childish?
Usually it was the other way around. Everything good, one thing bad, God is awful.
Mm-hmm. But what did it take to convince people that God is awful? A Holocaust. What does it take for God to be great? A half inch. A quarter of an inch. A hair's breadth. I think the idea is this. By nature, what is more real and more powerful? Negative or positive? There's no question that the negative is real. Pain is real, grief is real, suffering is real. It's not an illusion. It's real. But how real? Good is also real. How real? What we're seeing in this response and throughout all of history, yes, there's a lot of darkness, but a little bit of light, and we don't care about the darkness. It's all good. Because the good is by nature, if that's the right word, the good is more powerful, more meaningful, more significant. The negative, it hurts. It doesn't make it awesome. It doesn't make it eternal. It doesn't make it divine. There's nothing awesome about pain. There's nothing awesome about evil. It's a terrible nuisance. But good is not just enjoyable. Good means the way it's meant to be. So when things happen and they're not the way things are meant to be, we're upset, we're confused, we have questions, we have complaints, but it's not the way it's meant to be. Something good happens, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's what's meant to be. So there really is no competition between negative and positive. Negative, for some reason, it exists and we have to put up with it. But good is truth. Good is eternal. Good is divine. Good is what should be. So when things are as they should be, that is much more exciting. That is much more compelling. It's much more impressive than things are not as they should be. A very practical. When things are not as they should be, well then fix it. So make it the way it should be. But when things are as they should be, what can you do? Nothing. It's already perfect. It's bigger than us. Whereas the negative, fix it. Don't worship it, fix it. But that which is correct and that which is true and that which is right, obviously it doesn't need fixing. We can't add to how right that is. We can only be grateful and thankful and appreciative. Very different realities.
Rabbi Friedman, but the reality is that the dark took over control in the recent years, as we are finding out. And that's also real. And it's not us, it's above us as well. It's among us.
But it is us. It's some of us. A few of us. Right? It's definitely real. But it's really negative. It really shouldn't be. So eventually it won't be. Because what isn't real doesn't last. So yes, it looks very impressive, it looks very powerful, looks very convincing, intimidating, but it's not. Look, the same thing happens in a family. a very common occurrence. A child rebels, hurts the parents terribly, destroys the fabric of their lives. And this can go on for many years. And then the child calls and says, "Can I come home?" All the pain, all the years of sad grief and misery, and it's gone. It's gone. He's coming home. And that's how it should be. Everything until now was not the way it should be. So why is it that one positive gesture erases all the years of it? The word positive is insufficient. Yeah, it's positive. It feels much better when he wants to come home than when he hates your guts. Yeah, it feels much better. But it's more than feels better. Now everything is right. Now everything is as it should be. And that deserves a little attention and a little thought. As it should be. What makes things right or wrong? It's not a question of which things are as they should be. What does it mean that something is as it should be? That's a very powerful statement. It should be? What does that even mean? It's a derivative of the concept of the purpose of life. Life has a purpose. Things that support that purpose, that's life. Things that don't support that purpose, that's dead. That's dark. That's lifeless. Take it a step further back. Where's purpose come from? Who says life has purpose? The Creator. So when we see things happen as they should be, God comes to mind. Because how else do we know what should be? Why is there a should be and a should not be? Because in God's plan, this is helping and this is not helping. So because God has a plan and creates the world from that plan, that's why there are things that should be and there are things that shouldn't be. And when something is as it should be, it's absolutely divine. And so people talk about God all of a sudden. Not because we've suddenly become believers, but we suddenly understand, now we see. So the fact that people will bless God and thank God and be thrilled when something good happens after years of negative, bad news, that tells us something about our nature, not about our religion. Our nature is sensible is everything. Nonsensible is negative 1,000. Why is it that way? Because it's true. There is a way it should be, and if it's not that way, then it's bad. It's not a faith. It's an insight and an awareness of truth. There is a truth. And when we see a little piece of the truth, it outshines and outweighs years of darkness and falseness, and that's the nature of the world. In a sense, that proves that the world does exist with a reason. It's a very powerful lesson. So it's not naive and childish. I abuse you, I make you suffer and then I give you a lollipop and everything's good. No.
Rabbi Friedman, a lot of people saw justice in what happened. God's justice. Justice came from God. That what happened, how a millimeter, whatever it was, a hair that saved President Trump, that came obviously from God's will, that it was justice. And what we have seen in the last, not even 4 years. 4 years we've been seeing it in our face. It's been there all along. That is injustice. And a lot of people are using just that word. Do you think that is a correct approach to what we're seeing, justice and injustice?
The words are fine. But justice and injustice is the same as purpose and purposeless, meaningful or meaningless. It's pretty much the same idea. When we think that we have completely forgotten right from wrong, we don't know anymore what should be, what shouldn't be, what's up, what's down. All of a sudden we see, no, we haven't forgotten. When we finally see something positive, all the right memories come back. And that's basically what Mashiach is. When Mashiach comes and a little bit of truth starts to trickle in, all the suffering of history will become forgettable. Not only, it'll even become a positive force because it led us to this. So we're definitely going through not a religious revival. We've had those many times, and they didn't bring good results. We're going through a different kind of upheaval, and the results can only be absolutely cosmically positive, eternally positive, because it's real. It's not hope out of desperation or a leap of faith to cover up everything that makes no sense. This time it's making sense. We're there. We're there. We got it.
Rabbi Friedman, what makes it real? What makes it real? How can we completely, you said we got it. I think we're close to getting it. I agree. I think people are coming to consensus on a lot of things, on a lot of good and real things. But if we were to identify what makes it real?
The things we've always assumed, either on faith or on pure hopefulness, we're now realizing it's not just wishful thinking. It's true. It's real. Good is much more positive than negative. Negative is much less real than it seems. So all of these fundamental truths are becoming identifiable, recognizable, knowable, which is much better than something you believe in or something you hope for or wish for. In the past, we would say, hope for good things, wish for good things, be optimistic. Maybe it's not actually true, but, well, what are you going to do? Sit and cry all day? But now we realize, no, it is true. It is true. Those things we call positive are absolutely true. True meaning they always were, they always will be. Right is right forever. Wrong is wrong until you stop it.
The suffering that the evil has caused is so real to so many, and it's still going on. It's still going on. How can we just close the door to it? How can we make it stop?
Suffering is real. Evil is not. And it's a fundamental and almost constant misunderstanding in history. Pain and evil are not the same thing. Pain is real, evil is not. So part of the frustration is evil that isn't real can cause pain that is real. That doesn't seem right. Not only morally, but even naturally. So I can make up a story, a complete fiction, without any truth to it whatsoever, and scare children and cause them pain and trauma. Why is that even possible? How can something fake bring about something real? It's philosophically that shouldn't be possible. So the answer is, the pain isn't coming from the fake. The pain is part of the fabric of this lowest of all worlds. What can stimulate that pain? Just about anything. But pain was created by God, not by evil. So not every pain is evil. Most pain is not evil. So the evil is fake, the pain is real. The fake won't produce any good results ever. Pain brings a lot of good. It humanizes. I mean, I don't want to make it sound too too justified or but pleasure and pain are both real in creation, and they're both absolutely necessary. We prefer the pleasure over the pain. It's like some foods are very sweet, some foods are very sour and bitter. I prefer the sweet one. But the bitter has its use. Whereas the evil has nothing. It doesn't even create pain. It seems to.
This is a very, very hard concept to grasp, I'm sure, for a lot of people, me including, because we see the tyranny that comes from evil that causes pain. How can we interpret it to see that the pain and the evil are separate?
One example might be a person goes to a doctor and he's in a lot of pain. What should the doctor do? Stop the pain or stop the disease. If you just stop the pain, you could be killing the patient, because the disease continues, and now there's no pains reminding the person or motivating the person to heal. So it's not the pain that is the enemy, it's the disease. So we can't always blame the pain. The pain is the signal, the awareness, the natural response to that which shouldn't be. So it's not that the pain shouldn't be, it's whatever's causing the pain shouldn't be. And then, of course, there'd be no reason for the pain.
Rabbi Friedman, but where does this disease came from, this evil disease that we're living with for so many centuries?
It's from people's bad choices. We have free will. We can be destructive. We can be malicious. We can be cruel. And that tendency, or that perverse pleasure in causing people pain, that's got to go. Much more than the pain itself. So instead of attacking the pain and wanting to be pain-free, we should attack the cause and be free of that. In other words, morality. We've forgotten that it's the morality or immorality that is our enemy and our mission. Our mission is to rid the world of immorality. It's not our mission to rid the world of pain. Indirectly, of course, if we get rid of immorality, there would be no need for the pain. That would be Mashiach. So why in Mashiach's days will there be no pain and no suffering and no illness? Because we've gotten rid of the cause, not the symptom. So a symptom of illness is actually a good thing. Without the symptoms, we wouldn't even know that we're in danger. So we're not fighting pain. We don't want to be pain-free. We want to be evil-free.
Rabbi Friedman, I think you explained it extremely well on a physical level, but it seems that the biggest war we're going through right now is on the mental level, and the mental health is being affected. And that is a much harder place to fight than on the physical level. How did it get us there, and how do we deal with it in that area?
Well, just to stick to the theme, part of the darkness is that we took pain as evil, and we took evil as real. And when you think evil is real, you get intimidated. You kind of lose your bearing. When evil is as real as good, we're terribly confused, dangerously confused. Evil is not as real. That's an insult to goodness. Goodness is much more real. Why? Because goodness is in sync with what the world is supposed to be. Evil is out of touch with what the world is supposed to be. So when we start to almost worship evil, the attitude not long ago, people were very comfortable saying, there will always be wars. Never mind world peace. It's not real. War, animosity, hatred, competition, that's real. So get real and forget about peace. That undermines everything. That wrong-mindedness, as you say, it's in the mind. If your mind is not right, well, how can anything else turn out right? And that's why it's so good to see that people are starting to realize what is right-minded, not just more pleasurable.
I hope so. I really do. I mean, we do see it, but we still see it not where it's most seen, obviously, on the arena where the power is held. We're still not seeing it as prominently as we see it on the lower levels of humanity. But we are seeing it. So I don't know, what would it take, because they're still in control and they're still not with it. What would it take for them to get with it?
Well, people are asking questions. People are demanding explanations. Once the tide turns, there's no stopping it. So it will just continue to get better. The surprises will be more positive. Until now, the surprises were mostly negative. We never thought people could be that stupid. We never thought people could be that evil. Right?
True. Yeah.
Now we got to, never thought people could be that good. I had just this experience, 3 weeks with the teenage girls who chose to spend 3 weeks of their summer vacation studying and living Judaism without knowing much about it. And they came to explore. So I'm sitting there belaboring a point. I'm trying to say something about the lifestyle that they have is not so healthy, it's not so good, and I'm explaining it, and I'm proving it, and afterwards the girl said, yeah, we knew that. How did they know that? They live in a society that is so empty of value, is so empty of... Yeah, they knew that. The young people today are I don't know who could be their teacher, because they're way ahead of us. Just intuitively or somehow, yeah, we knew that. Doesn't mean they're going to change it because they want to be popular, but they know. It's a terrible lifestyle. It's nasty, it's vulgar, it's cheap. They know. And I'm trying so hard to convince them. I say, yeah, we know.
The thing is, Rabbi Friedman, people know. They just either can't or don't know what to do about it. They just don't know how to go about changing it.
Right. And we're not quite desperate enough. So we can kind of humor it. Yeah, you know what kids are into these days? They're taking drugs. Dangerous drugs. Yeah. What are we so nonchalant about it? But when it gets to be really outrageous and intolerable, there's no question. It's going to change. We may be lazy, but we're not all suicidal. God is not going to let his world be destroyed, and we're not going to let.
Rabbi Friedman, amazing. Thank you so much. We are talking about the same things all the time, but we're just getting so much deeper into all of the things that we're talking about. We're understanding them so much more and so much clearer and on a much deeper level. And of course, it is thanks to you and and the wisdom that you bring, and it's priceless for all of us at this time of our lives to really get deeper to understand, because no one has ever told us that pain and evil are two separate entities, and how to treat both of them. And this is priceless. I think this has been absolutely amazing for so many people who are confused, because that's what it is. We're still confused. We're getting better. We're getting more unconfused. And again, it's thank you for this time that you allocate for us. It's incredible. And I wish you a very easy fast, because that's what we're doing today. I was going to talk about it, but unfortunately, as always, we ran out of time. So hopefully we're doing something good by not eating today and fixing ourselves and the world at least a little bit through this act. And Rabbi Friedman, thank you so much. I really do hope to continue getting the wisdom from you for as long as possible, because that is the highlight of our radio. Thank you so much.
Let's keep the surprises coming.
The good ones.
The good ones.
Thank you so much.